Hello, my name is Joe Barth. I am a senior consultant at Nudesic. Um, Nudesic, we are consultants for many different clients, many different industries. We provide software solutions as well as database solutions, anywhere from business intelligence to data analytics. So today's presentation, we're going to talk about a hybrid data analytics solution via SQL Server 2017 and a creation of an Azure drone. We're going to focus on kind of a fun project that I've tasked myself with. But first of all, I'd like to say thanks to all our sponsors that help make SQL Saturday for Sacramento possible. Without them, this would not be possible, and I'd like to thank them. Thank you. So, without further ado, talk a little bit about the project that our company Nudesic tasked us with the innovation challenge. And my group came up with, let's code a drone and see what we can do with it. After a lot of research, there has been some hacks for drones, especially with Parrot's AR Drone 2.0. Very easy to hack and use code to control it. So that was our first kind of thing that we wanted to focus on. The Nudesic Innovation Challenge was take anything IoT and then make it self-updating, intelligent, and then have it assist you in any way or form. So we decided the drone would be the best way to do that, and actually the funnest. So we created what we call the Guardian Drone Angel, and the Guardian Drone Angel will help. The idea will, if firefighters or policemen deploy drones, they can help find people, they can help assist in any way, form in emergency situations. So that is kind of the idea and the goal of this project. We called ourselves Team Cyberdyne, so we have a lot to look forward to in the next following 6 months. This first 3 months we completed about a week or two ago was the first challenge to self-update and sensing. We used a combination of Heroku and Git to rapidly deploy an IoT solution for GDA. We also used Azure text-to-speech, speech recognition API, and facial recognition to receive commands and search for people, recognizing those people, and then finishing out a command based off that. So that's what our first part of our demo will be, us running that off the Windows desktop and showing you that it will recognize and then land. Intelligence, that's what we're working on now. So we'll actually do a little bit of demo of how we're going to bring intelligence into this this IoT drone solution. We're going to take cognitive services, and we're then going to tap into machine learning, big data, and cloud processing, along with streaming data mechanisms to create information that can later be used. We will also probably get into construction maps, locations for drones for certain people in certain rooms for residences. So the future is kind of high expectations, but I think we can do that with what we're given for the technologies. And then last and final, take that information, then make it actionable. Pass that data onto the drone and assist to day-to-day operations or emergency situations, like we said before, with police officers or firemen, finding someone and bringing them back to a certain location, safe location, or just getting all that information from the drone to make important decisions. So these are the 3 micro challenges or stages, and the building blocks to formulate a viable IoT solution to help everyday problems. So looking at innovation, we Googled, searched, and came up with a Henry Ford quote. And he had said, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. Now there's some issues. They say that he really actually didn't say this, so But let's just take this code and say, every time I talk to somebody about what I'm doing with the drone, they're like, oh, you can do it this, and this is the world, and you can do it. Yeah. So after these first 3 months, I'm very, not skeptic, but, I come back down to earth on what the abilities that we can do and what we can't. Um, the thing about innovation is, innovative doesn't mean that you have to create something brand new and it never been done before. You actually innovate by taking things and bringing them together. Example, Henry Ford, he brought the assembly line, interchangeable parts, and the automobile brought them all together and created what we now see as that production, that working machine that created an efficient, inexpensive product, and he sold millions. He made a lot of money doing that, and so he was innovative because he brought those things together. That's what we're going to see today, I believe, with what we've done with the drone so far. We've created an updating and sensing, and that was our first challenge, to harness IoT technology and develop a quick production engine that will make development easier and quicker, but then also using that information later on. So we, like I said, we used a combination of GitHub and Heroku for rapid deployment. We took the Node.js code, and that's used to communicate to the drone, and it commands the drone, communicates also with the Azure API and the facial recognition APIs and cognitive services. So Node.js can work on a lot of different platforms, iOS, Windows, and Raspbian, which we used. Azure Data Analytics Lake, so we can actually store all the telemetry data from the drone and pass it through IoT Hub, and then Streaming Analytics can push it to Azure Data Lake for consumption later on. Using Streaming Analytics, we can push that to the Power BI and then the Azure Data Lake store, and using the IoT Hub, we collect data from the drone to the Raspberry Pi to the cloud. And that's kind of the focus of the first challenge. And now moving forward, we definitely want to use SQL Server 2017 and machine learning to continue that. So the problems that we actually faced before we move on to the demo: drone connectivity, creating it works off Wi-Fi. If you worked with the AR drones or the paired drones, essentially you have a Wi-Fi connection. You connect to that through your phone. Well, then you don't have any internet. So the next thing was creating an access point, and hacking this is not easy. It's still a challenge today. You'll see that we're running everything off the laptop for the Azure, the SQL Server 2017 things. We're still running off the laptop. Creating a connection and using it has been a challenge, and that continues to be. So running the code off the Raspberry Pi 3. If you go back to Mark Tor's blog on autonomous air drone, you'll see that he just did it on his laptop. Well, we did it on a Raspberry Pi. We took what he did and then installed everything on a Raspberry Pi and got it working there. It was a challenge to do that, and that communicates to the drone, and then that runs everything, pushes everything to the cloud. So we want to take the Raspberry Pi and then mount it on the drone, but it just could not support that weight. It only flew about 6 inches off the ground, so we've got to look at different solutions to be able to do that. So, working around things like the drone connectivity, using Telnet every time to connect the drone is not the most optimal solution, but we need to move forward, and we need to work with what we have. Run code off a Raspberry Pi Zero, which is much smaller. It's about a third of the size of a Raspberry Pi 3. That's to communicate the drone, commands the drone, communicates with Azure APIs, speech and facial recognition. We also purchased a Parrot Bebop drone, which is the next level up of drones. It too can be harnessed to run code. So we're definitely working on that. Trying to get that Wi-Fi connectivity is a little challenging. It's not quite the same as AR Drone 2.0, but we are working with that, and that should be in this next challenge or phase of the project. So we're going to have kind of two demos here. We're going to first show you what we have completed for Micro Challenge 1, but then also what we're getting into, which is the neat stuff with SQL Server. Tell the drone to find Joe. That's what I'm going to do. The drone will take off and fly looking for, it'll take pictures, and once it sends a picture that it recognizes Joe, it'll display what it is seeing, but then once it's found, it's going to put a red box around my face. The drone will say, "Found you, Joe. Hope you're having a nice day." Drone will land. Then the Power BI will show streaming altitude and battery data. And then also we'll show the data in the Azure Data Lake. So what is kind of next? As I was saying, we had our first micro challenge and it was due a couple weeks ago. Now we're tasked to use machine learning. Well, the great thing about SQL Server is the ability to connect through Node.js, and that's what we're going to show you what we have so far today with connecting and running commands from SQL Server 2017 to the drone, and then also using machine learning and what we have done so far there to possibly control the drone by making decisions based off that. And then lastly, we're going to end up creating a solution, and by the end of the Micro Challenge 3 in assisting, we're going to create a total separation from on-prem and then have it all as a cloud-based solution, running all Azure SQL DBs, running in-memory OLTP as well as temporal and graph databases in the cloud, and then machine learning using the Azure machine learning as well with the trained model to make decisions. So that is what we're going to show you in the demo. I hope you enjoyed our little slide deck here. So thank you for listening.